I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes them torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power. The power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give you the future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. I said that the wrong way around, but you get the gist. Welcome to Manifesto Mondays. You're probably all wondering, might as well speak about the elephant in the room. Toris isn't here right now. He's probably going to be joining us soon. He's got something that's come up. But yeah, he will be surely joining at some point, hopefully. Before I get going, just want to make one thing clear. I'm not looking for anyone to bring up anything personal, nothing like that. We're here to talk about the DAO and how to improve it. And also, I'm wanting to focus on voting. I think that's a really strong point about the DAO, and I think we need to improve a few points. And there are some things that are in the pipeline as well. So let's discuss all that sort of stuff. And there's something else as well that Gambler will want to discuss. I don't think he's here just now, and he'll join us shortly. I've already got a few requests, so I'll bring a few people up. Well, Gambler Will's here as well. Let me make him co-host. Get him on. It's a weird start, isn't it, without Artorias? Not having that little banter with him. It feels a bit odd. It was going to happen at some point, right? Hey, Gabby Will. Thank you for making it. I was having a conversation with myself then.
Yeah, hey man, doing well. Sorry, been a long day. I was about to take a nap, so
It's all right, man. It's all good. It's all good. I was just saying it felt a bit weird. I don't have a Notorious at the start. It's like the first time in like forever. So yeah, it's all good. Thank you for coming up and thank you for co-hosting with me. I was just saying that we're focusing on voting and what voting means for the DAO and how important it is, and also we'll speak about what you mentioned in VC in regards to having I was going to call it a cult council because it doesn't have a name right now, right? But we'll go into that a bit later on. I'm just going to let a few people on because I've already requested early on. Wastelander, how you doing, bud?
Hey, pretty good, Harry. Good to be up here. Good to see everybody here.
Thank you for coming on, man. You're not driving. I just realized you're not driving. Well done.
No, I changed up my schedule so my commute doesn't always interrupt my ability to keep living. All good.
No, that's good, man. That's good. We've got Peace on Peace as well. Let me just get him up. Early request. Oh, hold up. 1 second. I'll address something in a second. Let Peace on Peace talk. I've just noticed something. 1 second. Hey, Peace on Peace. Welcome.
Welcome, sir. Now, can you do me a favor? Can you reintroduce yourself for the show? I didn't like your energy, man. It was low.
I'm sorry. You know what?
It was low, man. You can do better. You can do better.
I agree.
It's getting under your skin, and that's what I want you to shake it off. So start over again, man. Bring the energy.
You know what? I think it's notorious him not being here. It's crazy. If it just felt a bit odd. I'm good. I'm buzzing. Honestly, I'm absolutely. I'm happy to be here. This is like. By the way, I messed up the time because there's been a time difference in the UK, and I thought the time difference is all over the world, but I think America doesn't do daylight saving. Is that correct?
We do.
They do.
We do.
Oh, I don't know what's going on because I got a few.
But I think it's Sunday. It starts this coming Sunday.
Oh, we've done it a week early then. Or it's either that or I've done it wrong.
Dude, I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm a bit lost, but it's all good. It's all good. We'll call it the Artorias effect anyway. Yeah, no worries. But one thing, right? So Mr. C, I thought he was going to change his PFP. I thought that was voted out. He's still got it up. That's a bit of a distraction, I must say. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, we'll get right into it then. So yeah, what I wanted to say was, so I don't know if a lot of people saw this. Artorias literally did say that the submit button wasn't working. There were some issues with that. So a lot of the delegated votes didn't go through for that reason. And therefore that's getting sorted out, or no, I think it's sorted out now. And also he's looking to implement like a feature where if you've delegated your votes, it kind of shows if they're delegated or not. So it'll show like 0 if they're not delegated and you vote. So it'll basically tell you if you've done it correctly or not before voting, which I think is quite ideal because people are getting caught out either doing it incorrectly or it not going through for whatever reason. So I think it's quite a nice add-on, so to say, so you know that your vote counts towards whatever proposal you're voting for. So we're always looking at improvements, which is great. I mean, I didn't even think of that, so that's quite decent. And also, I think he should be joining us soon anyway. Gamble, shall we get into what you were talking about in TG in regards to, or do you want to cover a bit more on voting, or how do you want to do this? Which way around do you want to do it?
yeah, no, I mean you did it right as far as the voting is concerned. I think if your delegated votes show 0, that means that you're not having any votes to vote with. So you have to delegate your wallet. And I think Artorias is going to put in a feature where if you try to vote and it's a 0, it'll prompt you saying that, hey, your votes are 0, so make sure you delegate your wallet. Harry, I wasn't sure if you're looking to post that thing that I sent you. I don't know if you posted the tweet, but you're welcome to use mine if you want to, which shows exactly how to delegate votes so that your votes do count.
I'll pin it just now. I'll pin it now.
Okay. Yeah. And So outside of that, the other thing that was among many other things that Wastelander is working on as well. One of the suggestions that um, was thought of is some kind of a approval stamp. That's what I called it. I think you're calling it the council approval process, where we have a proposal that you can work on or anybody can work on, but before it goes to a workshop mode, that we have selected guardians or certain people from the many as well who can help out in terms of getting the vetting process done up front. And then once the majority of that group approves it, that's when it goes into the workshop mode. So nothing changes from workshop mode and going forward, but before it gets to workshop, you can have some level of transparency with people involved within a proposal for a project, so that later on, when there are some questions coming up or concerns, it's not just one guardian answering all the questions. You can have these 8 or 10 people who are part of the same project that can answer the questions and give you their positive and negative side of things, because there will be some who may not like to approve certain things based on their own opinion, and you can ask them why they think that way. So this will take away a lot of the pressure of guardians or their supporters after the proposal is up and running, because a lot of times you see a proposal up and you have all these things that are being questioned, and then people vote based on what they see, and they could be misinformed. So one of the ways to combat that is to have a lot of research done up front before it goes to workshop mode, and then from workshop to the proposal and the voting part, it'll just kind of smooth things out.
No, I think it's a great idea because it doesn't put a burden on like one guardian, because everyone, crypto is quite widespread, and not we've got different strengths in different fields. So I think it's quite a decent way to kind of vet together and to kind of raise anything. It's just another way to kind of process it together and to put it through, right? And I personally don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. Obviously, it means more work, but at the end of the day, personally, I'm sure that the people that are putting themselves forward for it are willing to do that because it's for the goodness of the DAO. People are already spending a lot of time. So, yeah. One other thing I wanted to ask was this so, are we thinking, I'm going to call it Cult Council for now until it's a formal name. I just think it's easy. So we're looking to form this Cult Council probably, right? Are we thinking to have it exclusive for Guardians or including some of the many? Because I can see an argument for both sides, obviously, but I just wanted to see what you were thinking in regards to that, and possibly other people as well, if they want to come up and voice their opinions on that and what they think, how we should do that.
Yeah, of course. Of course, it's not limited to the Guardians. It's if somebody brings, it's almost like somebody brings them to the table. If you bring a certain expertise in your field and you're able to contribute and you're available to be a part of how much time you're spending here, that if you're able to help out, then obviously, we want to create this council, right, as a way to approach things together. And, but it doesn't have to be limited to Guardians because, again, not all Guardians possess all the skills, whether it's technical or otherwise. So I think it's an open discussion in terms of, who is willing to volunteer and what they bring to the table. And in terms of getting part of this, whether it's a Telegram group or a Discord group, so we can approach things together. The other reason also is, besides the part that it's a lot of burden on a guardian in terms of answering questions and stuff, it's also a lot of work that gets divided. So instead of things slowing down, actually it'll be faster. Because if I'm alone trying to tackle a project versus a team of 4, 5, 6 people, then we can get the job done a lot faster. So we can actually put forward good proposals by going through them a lot quicker with the team. So there's pros and cons to it in a sense. The biggest one being the fact that you can actually get things done a lot faster if you have a team of people rather than one person doing it.
No, absolutely. I'm guessing in some instances already, if a guardian's unsure, I'm guessing they approach each other to find out about things in regards to a project just to make sure that they were in line or well educated before putting it up. So it just you're right, in some instances it does make it quicker to have a few eyes on it and to do the due diligence or ask these questions that need to be asked. No, absolutely. I'd love to have other people come up as well and obviously share their opinions on this and what they think, because it is adding it is another vetting process, so to say, in a way. So I mean, it's quite important that we hear what others think in regards to it. How did you come about this, by the way, GW? Did you is that something that you thought of, or it's quite interesting?
I worked on a couple of projects already where I needed some external help, and so I approached a few people in that process, and it was very effective. And I was just hoping that that could be something that can work with every project. So it was just a matter of talking more about it to see who is active enough to want to approach it this way. Well, we have approached a few projects together, and some of them didn't work out because of whatever reason. But the one that did work out, I did bring in a lot of people into that. So.
No, that's good, man. That's good. It's good to obviously learn and to implement stuff and to build on top of the DAO to make it more efficient. It's all about efficiency, and obviously, if it's for the betterment of the DAO, then I don't see why it would be a big issue, obviously. But I'm for it, so I definitely want people to come up, and if they've got other views, then definitely share them. This is quite vital, I would say, for people to kind of come and share their thoughts on this. As always, though, we're getting a bit of a shy crowd today. Is it because Artorius isn't here? Do you lot only come up and talk for Artorius? Come on. Cool. What else did I made a couple of notes, actually, in regards to a couple of things that I wanted to go over, but sometimes I feel like covered. And in regards to, I'm just thinking now, how many people are we thinking to have on this approval group, so to say? Just have we got a number, or are we just kind of gonna see what's more effective?
That's open to discussion. I mean, it doesn't have to be a specific number of people. Like, think of it this way, right? Let's say we have 15 people, hypothetically. Somebody brings something to the table, right? Now a proposal is coming forward, and we throw it in the pot and say, okay, well, this is the project. Who wants to be a part of it, to join in, to continue with it? And that's when 5 or 6 people can, so to speak, raise their hand and do it. Sorry, I got 2 kids in my hand now. So
it's okay.
So it doesn't have to be a specific number of people, because then it also seems like it may be biased or whatever. So it all depends on the kind of project it is, and if a project requires heavy tokenomics, then we could be needing 2 people that are experts in that department. So it all depends on really what the project is and how many volunteers we have that can jump into this.
Yeah, no, sounds fair, to be honest. I mean, it's what works, right? And if we're implementing something new, then there's going to be some element of trial and error. So no, absolutely. Spurps. I think, did I say his name right? I always get it wrong. Let's get him up. Hey mate, how you doing? Does he just want me to say his name again? Spurps, I think I said it wrong again.
No,
hey.
It was very well, lad. Sorry, Harry, I didn't know you were talking to me. So
always talking to you, mate.
Just to give maybe my 2 cults. I really like the idea, but maybe one thing that I am struggling with is if you keep it open, like who wants to join, then you still might end up with the same challenges as we had before. And maybe it's better that you say we need certain profiles, and it's dangerous, and that you give people a label. And I'm going to simplify it a bit too much maybe, but you've got like the person who is more traditional in the crypto world, and if the person who is more open for risky proposals. There's somebody who's more open for good deeds, and like that you could like say we need one of each profile, because if you keep it open for people applying, then you might again have 10 similar profiles. Does that do I make myself clear, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone has a different risk appetite, right? I totally agree. I think it's a bit of a tricky one, because I was thinking, how will we select these people?
Yes, sir.
What if we have an overwhelming amount of people? I don't know. We could go down a snapshot vote route, maybe. I don't know. It's just an idea to select the people. Obviously, because at the end of the day, they're representing the DAO to some extent. So there's different ways it can be implemented. At the moment, it's just an idea, so it's great to hear your viewpoint. And you're right, I get what you mean. But we've still got, I think if we try not overcomplicate it, because we've still got the workshop to get through and then the voting, it's just another layer of education, really, for people to kind of come together and be like, is this proposal fit for the DAO? And go through the questions together. And if they don't understand the element of the project, then they've got more eyes on it. So that's how I'm seeing it personally. But I get what you mean, though, because everyone's got a different risk appetite. Some people will be more for something or against something. Absolutely, I totally get that, bud.
Okay, so yeah, it has to do more with transparency than anything else. And I'll give you an example. So let's just pick just any 5 people here that are coming with me to discuss a proposal that I have that I want to pursue, right? It doesn't mean that the other 4 people have to engage or speak or anything unless they want to. The whole idea is that as I'm discussing, the project with their team, that I have 3 people with me that are just there in the room, right? So later on, when there are certain questions that are coming up, then it's not just my word against someone else. Now we have 5 people that were there, and they're disclosed who they are. And so it starts with that level of transparency. If some of these people have questions or concerns, then they are welcome to, of course, engage as well, which adds more to the, adds more value to the whole thing. So it's not about 4 or 5 people, 6 people coming in and like negotiating and talking. It's just that they're there in terms of transparency and fairness.
Hey guys, can I make a counterpoint just for debate on that?
Yeah, of course.
So I think it's good. Like obviously, more dialogue. I believe that, but I think there's got to be room for an outsider to come in and bypass that mechanism. And like, let's say, for example, somebody has capital, they become a guardian. I don't know the inner workings of how it works in terms of having to have other people cooperate with them in terms of the multi-sig, but you risk centralization if somebody comes in and they feel like there's an insider group, that they have to kind of get through before they can go to the people. So I would just caution that you also make it known that, hey, if you're somebody who has big ideas, you have some capital, you could take it right to Twitter and right to the people and tell them why you're putting this proposal up and let them decide, right? So I'm worried that it's behind the scenes kind of thing, and it does introduce a potential for centralization. So I just wanted to throw that in there into the mix and see what you guys think about that.
Yeah. So once again, everything the way it's been working stays the way it is. This is just before what happens before a workshop the project gets workshopped, right? So the point is that it's no different than me working on a project by myself. The difference is that now I have 4 people working with me who are in the same room with me. That's the only difference.
Yeah, but can you, like, let's say you had an idea and they didn't agree with you, Gamble, and you were so passionate about it, and you just wanted to bypass them and bring it right to Twitter and to the people. That's the point, right?
Of course, absolutely,
that, right?
Right. So yeah. So the point is that. So let's just say I do that, right? Let's just say I do that now. The same 4 people who were never there would still come out today and oppose that idea anyway. Correct? The difference is that now they're not opposing it just because they found out about it. They've been opposing it, and they have good reasons on why they were opposing it. So when the time comes, they're opposing it for the same reasons. The difference is that, am I passionate and that's why I want to do it? Because then that's my argument. So you can still bypass that if you want to. The difference is that it did not meet a certain stamp of approval from these few people. It doesn't mean much because that same stamp doesn't apply even if I came up with a proposal today in the open. But right now it's more chaotic versus, some research was done beforehand.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. So I told myself I wouldn't talk today, but I didn't hear anybody taking the counterpoint. So that's perfect. That's a good answer. Just in terms of the vote that's going on today, like I thought it was really good, man. Like I never learned so much about a proposal just hearing everybody talk about it on Twitter. Like I heard, Cause made the case for the economists. I heard people say why they're against it and all kinds of things that I thought was really, really good. So that's kind of why I was asking that question, just having these debates out in the open. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks for coming up. I'm glad you came up, actually. It's vital to hear everyone's points. If anyone else wants to come up as well, if you have either a recommendation or a concern in regards to this, absolutely come up. I think it's great that Ataris is obviously still building and trying to make it easier for people to vote. I think it's vital because the voting part of the DAO is fundamental. We've got a lot of people sticked, but a lot of people still aren't voting. So I'd really like to hear why that is, because voting is our voice in a way. Well, it is actually, yeah. That's how we're heard on the blockchain, right? So, yeah. 1 second, got another request. Cool. Let me just get them on. 1 second. I hate the awkward silence when someone's connecting. Takes a while sometimes. Chris, not sure. Welcome, Chris. Can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey,
okay,
yeah,
sorry.
Absolutely. Welcome.
Thank you. A couple questions. One, like on the proposal that came up again today, I know that was the second time it came up. It didn't seem like, at least for me, I didn't see that was coming up until it was up there as a proposal. It didn't seem like there were, and I basically went and voted once I saw everybody posting to go vote. And I'm pretty active. I look up there, and so I'm wondering where that, is there more information on when those are coming up? Because that seemed like it came up without any real notice. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. As far as I'm aware, that came up because there was a big chunk of votes that weren't counted because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Gambling Whale, but I think that the delegated votes didn't go through, so they weren't counted. And I know that Artorius was saying that the submit button wasn't working, so they've obviously put it up for another vote again. I mean, I don't know, because I've been really busy today, so I'm not sure if anyone was notified before it was coming up or not. I know there's been a lot of chatter about it because I've been getting loads of messages, which I've not gone through today. But as far as I'm aware, it was more of a lot of votes not being counted and having a rerun of it.
Yeah, and that's not my proposal, technically speaking, just so you know. I also woke up with the same news as you did.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sorry, apologies. Yours was the first one, yeah. No, absolutely. But yeah, so as far as I'm aware, that was the reason for it going up.
And the other thing is, it didn't seem like, unless people are like sandbagging, waiting for the last minute to vote, like it doesn't seem like the big bags are voting. Like I know I voted today, and I was like, holy smokes, I think I'm 75% of the votes currently. So either they're not being updated, or I can't be that big of a bagger. It makes that much of a difference. But
so I mean, yeah, and I understand that. Here's the thing. What I'm doing now is, after each proposal, I'm going to put out a report that shows that how many people are voting, thinking they voted, without really their votes getting counted. So in the last one, not this upcoming one, but the last one that got put up, there were 66 wallets that voted, and their votes never counted because they never delegated their votes to begin with, which is why it's important to push this narrative that you need to delegate your votes. And if you have questions, DM somebody in the admin team or myself or anyone else. One second, or whoever that can help you in terms of getting your votes delegated, so your votes do count.
Okay, yeah, that was just the 2 points I had. I was a little confused on the amount of chatter on Twitter versus how slow the voting was going. It seemed like disproportionate.
Yeah, that seems to happen. That's why I just stated like 5 minutes ago, I really want to hear why people aren't voting, because there is a lot of voices on Twitter or Telegram and stuff, and there is a big amount that's still staked, but we're not very proportionate to the voting in regards to staking amount. So I'd love to hear why people aren't voting, or if they are voting and it's not going through, or if people are doing it somewhat wrong. So yeah.
Well, I hope it's not like I hope it's not another narrative behind the scenes, like the big bags are waiting just to kind of like come in later and crush it. Like, haha, You lost it.
The thing is, Chris, like no one knows what's going to happen because people can vote whenever within the time frame. So I'm aware as much as you are and anyone else is. The people that are waiting to vote will wait. They can still vote before the end of time. It could be 2 minutes before, 5 minutes before. We can't really say. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just hoped we could push the narrative like that's not cool. Like I just don't. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not game the system to prove a point. Like let's as people move forward and want to voice their words through a vote, then do it ethically and not like trying to game the system and wait in the last second. I just don't think it's a good culture to have.
Yeah, what I would say is that obviously there's no stopping anyone from voting at the end. It is legitimate still, but what I would say is if people are worried about big bag holders voting, then more people need to come vote because it dilutes their vote. It's as simple as that, really. It's really important that everyone comes and votes, either way, whatever they want to vote. That's really important. That's a message we need to send out. And what we need to ask is why are people not voting? Because we've got enough cult staked.
Yeah, okay. Well, thanks for letting me speak.
But No, absolutely. Thanks for coming up. I don't think you've come up before, so it's nice to hear a new voice.
No,
Thanks for coming up.
It's my first time, and I'm getting more active in Twitter. And I play the middle. I try to play the political, like play the gray. I know what's going on in the drama right now. I try to play both sides.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's agree to disagree and move on. Like it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. I try to like come from a different angle on when people try to challenge. Like, hey, let's just be empathetic. Like let's not be attacking each other.
Yeah, I think like not mentioning anything. I think it all comes down to voting for me.
Yeah,
and it's really vital. All it comes down to, right? The biggest, most powerful thing that we have is our vote. So yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, no, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
No worries. Thanks. Internet dollar. I see you, bro. I was just waiting for.
You guys,
I'm trying to keep it a bit logical today.
can you guys?
And letting people on one by one.
Can you guys hear me?
Absolutely.
I think just on the voting thing, this proposal went up. A lot of people didn't vote last time, and correct me if I'm wrong. Someone's smarter than me here, but if they did not delegate before this proposal went live, their votes will still not count again. So even though they delegate and vote and spend all that money on gas, it won't count if they did not delegate before D3 went live for the second time.
Yes, that would be correct. That if you have not delegated your votes before a proposal goes live, then your votes still won't count. They'll count the next proposal, but not the one that's up and running live. Correct.
Was there? Sorry, just to touch point on that. I'm not sure if anyone else is aware of this, but just from what I've heard, I don't know if it's correct. Was there a bunch of votes that were delegated that voted but weren't submitted for some reason?
I am not sure. I actually have no idea.
All right. Okay.
I didn't put the proposal up, so I woke up to the same news as everyone else did.
Yeah, I think I don't know. That's what I thought. I read that earlier on because the submit button wasn't working, which is working now. As far as I'm aware, anyway. But yeah. Cool. I'll get the next person up. Bran. Hey, Bran. Welcome. Can you hear me, Bran?
You know what? It helps when the mic is on. I heard that's a requirement anyway. I just wanted to add something small. What Chris was saying there. There were some folks that, there was some confusion about voting and that. I think for me, and I just wanted to relate this because this is kind of just observation, right? There are a small amount of people that seem to be voting, and that's fine. It is what it is. But for me, I mean, I'm someone that tries to vote whenever there's something that I am passionate about. I didn't know there was a vote up until, I'm not kidding, the last couple of seconds. And then by that point, it's too late. You're not going to plug in a hardware wallet and get voted. You're not going to get your vote in time. So for me, that's why that for me was plain when there's some comments about, hey, we just didn't know we had to vote. That's the only reason I would give credence to that comment. I do actually think there's another issue where people just don't know they need to delegate for gasless voting. And that's something, Holly is going through a process of trying to help resolve. But I'm just worried that we're going to end up, and forgive me for suggesting or just referring to old topics, I don't want this to become another topic where we're all yelling at each other over Twitter because some folks don't quite understand that process. So that's the reason I jumped in here. I just wanted to note that I was one of the people that didn't know there was a vote up. I don't know if it was just me that I wasn't, paying attention, but it would be useful if there's a way of us telling which votes were gasless, so that we know how many people we might have missed, if that makes sense. And that's all I wanted to just note. Sorry, not a lot.
No. It's absolutely valid points, and thank you for coming up. Appreciate that. I think there was a number. I'm sure I read something earlier on today. It's been a really long day, and I'm sure there was a big number of gasless votes that didn't go through. Again, it was something to do with the button on the website, and I don't really have the numbers to hand right now, but I'm sure I can definitely try and get back or post it later on. I think it might have already been posted by someone because I've definitely read it, but I'll go back on that and see if I can put that up later on. I think in regards to proposals going up and people missing them, I don't know if we could have maybe, an official / unofficial Twitter handle where everyone puts notifications on when a proposal goes live. Everyone gets pinged if you put your notifications on. I don't know if that's a thing because not everyone's on Discord. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there, or maybe it can be done by the official cult account, Twitter account. I mean, there could be possible ways of doing that. That's just a suggestion, obviously. But yeah, just throwing ideas out.
Yeah, and again, I'm just thinking out loud. It does strike me that it could be that's what's happened with a lot of the votes is just the gas list isn't properly understood, and which suck, quite frankly. But anyway, I'll step back. That's the only thing I wanted to just note, just from my perspective. I mean, just from what I could see was happening on my side.
No, absolutely appreciate that. Thank you for coming up and sharing that with us. Let's get Citizen Kane on. Citizen Kane, welcome.
Hey, Harry, thank you for letting me up. Appreciate y'all. Just a suggestion, like you have Manifesto Mondays, why don't we have Proposal Wednesdays or Proposal Fridays, where everybody knows that on Friday, that's the day that proposals get launched or whatever. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, absolutely. Could be something that could be implemented. I think it's more. I'm just wondering if we've got. Actually, no. I don't know. Would we have time-sensitive proposals that need to go up before a Friday? I'm not sure. But just thinking out loud.
Yeah, I was going to say that most of the proposals usually have like an AMA that happens as well. So it would be hard to schedule things because we could also have a week without a proposal too, right? So I think trying to schedule it like a weekly thing where people are relying on it may be also difficult to achieve. But I mean, most proposals do go through a workshop process. There's plenty of chatter on Twitter about it and Telegram, and I know Harry and I talked about this too, about maybe an official Telegram channel for it as a way of announcing, proposals and stuff like that. So that's one way to also subscribe to it for the Telegram crowd who are not in Discord. So I think over time, as we go through different hurdles, we'll be able to figure out a better system on how to make sure that everyone's aware of what's happening within Cult if you choose to kind of go into, some official page that has all the updates.
Thank you for that. He's gone off. No, that's fine. I think he's gone back down to listener. Haley, welcome.
Hey, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everybody. Just to touch a point on the comment previously spoken in relation to missed voters on the gas fee. I understand that a lot of people could be on Telegram, and also the flip side could not be on Telegram. I'm just wondering, maybe another step forward would be to pin a proposal if it's not already the normal up at the top of the Telegram, and also just putting the feeler out there. I know some members probably won't be too happy with it. Maybe some people are, but maybe like a push notification, perhaps email push notification if certain users are willing to provide some form of email address. Doesn't necessarily have to be directly a personal email address or anything like that, but I'm sure there are other ways to push this out so that this sort of unfortunate kind of thing doesn't happen. Just a suggestion based on what I've heard. I don't know if that's worth anything.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming on and saying that. Yeah, no, don't know how people would feel about the email thing personally, but we can surely try and do something. I think the pinning the proposals on Telegram is a good idea, and I think we should utilize the Cult DAO Twitter, probably the official Twitter, a bit more. Most people are following that, and I think putting notifications on that and sharing it is probably a good idea as well. But yeah, no, absolutely. I think we definitely need to be a little bit more organized so more people are aware of things, because not everyone uses all platforms. So yeah, no, thank you for that. Whitlash, welcome.
Hey, Harry. How you doing? How are you doing? Well?
Good. How are you?
I just came up to say that I've sent a DM to Artorius and hope he checks it out. Some Etherscan links after delegating my votes and showing that I've delegated and saying that it didn't go through. So just if you can check that out.
Yeah, he's in here. He's giving a thumbs up. He's in here listening. So I'm sure he'll get back to you. No, thanks for coming up. And I think that there was a bit of an issue with delegating votes and stuff. So yeah, hopefully we can get that sorted and make it clearer for people and to ensure. And I think he's working on something as well to ensure that people know that their vote's going to count before they vote, so they know that it's delegated properly. So yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for coming up.
Perfect.
Hope you're well.
Thank you, Artorius, for all the work, man. I know you guys are always busy. Shit. Thank you, guys.
You're most welcome, man. Wastelander.
Yeah. Hey, Harry. And this isn't like 100% right fix for ensuring that like everybody at all times knows when proposals go up, but I had been going to do a space every Saturday, and I was going to this past Saturday, except a personal emergency came up. So as a way of helping let people know like what proposals are where in terms of workshopping and in terms of like when they're likely to go up, I'm happy to add a line item to the space that I'm going to have, which centers on developing DAO governance, right? So it's not a complete fix, but the way I tend to think about things is that it makes more sense to add steps and kind of increase visibility over time iteratively rather than always expect like a complete solution. So whoever it was that suggested that there be like a Wednesday or Thursday space, thank you, because that helped jog my memory that these spaces are going to be up Saturdays anyway. So I appreciate that.
No, thank you, and appreciate your efforts as well. And thank you for not driving whilst you're coming on. I appreciate that. No, thank you, absolutely. I think it's vital that we kind of have different methods because, I mean, people are going to be more, what's the word I'm looking for here? More engaged on different platforms, and they'll probably see information from different platforms. So it's good if we can have a bit of a cross bandwidth with things that are going on. Absolutely. So, whoa, what's going on here? We've got a soldier up today. It's not past your bedtime.
No, I stayed up late tonight. just to come on and speak to you.
Is it not 9 p.m.? Late. Come on.
Yeah, it's nearly 10, Harry. Come on. Yeah, I was just further to what Lee was saying about notifying people. There was at one point, I think it was Mr. V that had a Twitter bot that was basically a Twitter page, and if you subscribed to it, if you followed it, you basically set your alerts, then it alerted you automatically anytime a proposal was put forward to a live vote. So that could be something we could get back in as well, because I think most people are on Twitter as well, huh?
Absolutely. That's quite interesting. I didn't realize that was a bot.
Yeah, I don't know if Mr. V's in here, but he's definitely still around, yeah.
Mr. V of Coke.
Yeah.
Mr. V's in here listening right now.
There you go.
Oh, just seen the heart.
So he would definitely know about that. So that could be a good option as well.
Absolutely.
And like Lee said, pinning it on Telegram, good idea.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
But, I mean, it's just one good thing about the latest events and the gasless voting is that the participation's going through the roof. Like the number of people voting is just increasing all the time. So that's a huge positive for us as well. More and more people are learning how to do it and taking the time to actually do it. So, yeah, and that's the positives from recent stuff. So it's going to be good going forward. Quite excited. And we've got the Cult Chain coming. So we've got lots to look forward to, guys.
Absolutely. And we want more people to vote, right? Because that's the most important thing for this DAO is the voting, and we should help each other to ensure that everyone knows how to vote, to ensure that they're delegated properly, and to make sure that the process is as smooth as possible.
I mean, that's what makes us decentralized at the end of the day. The maximum amount of people voting as possible. So that's the aim, yeah.
Absolutely.
I have a comment on that, on my own personal experience. I don't mean to interrupt. Is that one of the things I notice is when there's a huge landslide on the voting, I tend not to vote. Not right, wrong, or indifferent, but when there was when we had to pay the gas and it was highly favored one side or the other, a no or a yes, I just chose not to vote, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's maybe way other people perceive it too. I don't know if seeing where the current standing in the votes impacts people voting or not, but it's kind of like me living in California and voting Republican. It's like I know my vote's not going to be heard. And I feel like sometimes that's the way people perceive when they see those percentages up there.
Yeah. Go on. Sorry, go on, Lee.
Sorry, Harry. I'm just curious as to what the reasoning is with that then. So, like, obviously you have the choice to vote, but yet you feel like your vote won't get heard. So, like, it's a bit of a oxymoron, right?
Totally. Like, it really is. I mean, are you talking about for the DAO or for being in California?
No, I'm talking in what you're saying. You're saying in one hand that you have the choice to vote, but yet you're saying that if you were to vote, that your vote wouldn't count. So that said, I'm trying to understand your thought process and the thesis behind this, because obviously a vote counts. Like, a vote counts significantly more than no vote, regardless, right? Like, so could you explain that to me in layman's terms? Because I'm struggling to understand that.
Sure. And like today, I voted as quickly as possible, so I wasn't swayed one way or the other. And actually, after reading some of the rebuttals, I may have went and voted differently. But instead of being influenced by it, I just went and voted because it doesn't matter. Human psyche goes, you want to be on the winning team. So if there's, or maybe like say that it's 99% one way. And because I'm not educated, I feel like it would be unfair for me to vote the opposite, because I'm just going to go with the masses. Like, this makes sense. And I'm not saying that's the way I feel every time. I'm just saying that when you ask about people not voting, I think there's some of that going on. I'm not speaking just for myself. I'm just speaking like you're asking why people aren't voting. This may be part of the reasons why. And I'm just thinking about myself from a political view and being in California. But like today's voting, I voted really early on the Dow because I didn't want to sit there and go, oh, it's 99%, it's going to go through, and my vote's going to be this percentage of it. It's not going to impact it, so why vote and pay the gas?
Yeah. So, and I understand what you're saying. So let me, I guess, and that applied more so with before gasless voting, because now with gasless voting, the way it works is that say you put in your vote through the gasless system, right? But that number isn't going to apply until somebody pays for the gasless voting part, and only after that, all of the votes that came in through that system are going to show up on the live ticker. So, end of the day, unless you know what I mean. So that's why you might see a big change in all the votes, whether it's approved or rejected, as soon as someone hits that gasless voting submit button. And from my understanding, it happens twice around the second day, and the idea is towards as late as possible towards the end, because if you submit the gasless voting button and then someone else votes in the gasless system and no one else buys that later, then their vote also doesn't get counted. So if you're going to be part of gasless voting, vote as early as you can, not as late as you can.
Okay. I wasn't part of the gasless voting, to be honest with you, but
yeah, no.
That
If you're
makes
paying
sense.
for gas, then of course you can vote, whenever you want to, because your votes will go through as long as they're delegated. But if you are going to be using gasless, then get your votes in early, because they're not going to be going through unless somebody pays for that gas. So if someone pays an hour before the proposal closes, and then you vote in the gasless system in the last 10 minutes, and no one's paying for that gas, that vote still doesn't get counted.
I see.
Is there any way that we could, like, some kind of like atomic clock? So what I'm saying is like, let's say we have this system in place whereby we have the Pull Bell official Twitter page push a notification out. This proposal has been proposed. Yada yada yada. This is the proposal. This is the deadline. This is the deadline for gasless voting. This is the deadline for gas voting. And then, like, surely there must be able to some bot whereby there's some sort of countdown timer. And so, to reflect on what was just said there, like what you just mentioned there, Gambling Whale was the earlier the gasless vote comes in, the more clout it has as such. Well, not so much clout, but the more chance of acceptance, as you will. Surely we can get something going like that, right? Twitter's full of bots, man. We're not using these bots to our advantage, but I'm sure there's some brainy people in this spaces that can do that. That's just my 2 points worth.
So, up until now, anybody could have paid for gasless voting, so there was no like scheduling, right? I know that Holly's proposal just passed, last night, I believe. That is, towards paying for gasless voting, right? So now that is kind of more in control, so to speak, right? Maybe we can have a scheduled time where one part of gasless voting will be submitted maybe midway through, and the other part, say 6 hours or something before the proposal ends. So that could be done, but up until now, anybody can actually pay for gasless voting if they want to. But officially speaking, I think Holly's requesting, so maybe she can maybe tell you about the plan.
Yeah, I believe this is to maximize the amount of votes based on the amount of Ethereum used. So it's like a really economical yet effective way of performing this. That's my understanding of it. Please correct me if I'm incorrect, if I'm understanding it incorrectly. You're very interesting indeed.
Can I just address this gasless voting thing and when it's submitted and all that? So when the proposal comes up Socrates, Soldier, and I, make note of when it happens, and then I calculate, okay, this is about 45% weight. We're doing 95%, but then it was becoming too close, because you guys have to realize that sometimes that time might be 3:00 in the morning for somebody to submit it. So it's not automated. Someone physically has to do it. And I'm in Pacific time. One of them's in UK, one of them's in Asia. But you guys just need to vote. The earlier the better. Because we can't submit right at the very last second. And people shouldn't not vote because they see, oh, well, it's already, 99% of the people want it this way, but you won't know until all of the gaseous votes are submitted. So unless there's some way to make it automatic submission, where there's currently not, people just need to vote sooner than later, because otherwise, their votes won't get submitted. It's just a fact of, of time limits and what time of night it happens to be, and all of that.
No, absolutely. And I would say that your vote shouldn't be dependent on what you see. It should be on your vote counts for yourself, right? And like you said, the gasless voting, you don't know where it's going to go anyway. But that shouldn't really matter. People should really just vote the way that, well, obviously take an educated vote and vote the way that they think that is best for the DAO. So, no, I totally agree with you, Holly. And thanks for doing everything and putting that proposal through, and Soldier and Socrates as well for doing this. It's not easy, especially when people are on the move, working, middle of the night. Someone has to get up and do these things. So appreciate that from everyone. Dr. XO, you've been waiting for a while. Apologies and welcome.
Hey guys, thank you. I'm patient, so I don't mind waiting. In regards to like all the ideas that you guys brought to mention that there's the proposal that's on, let's say people didn't see it either on Telegram, Discord, or whatever functions we can invent. One of the easiest thing I see in other projects is that, also referring to Cult as a brand, big projects have only one Telegram for view only. And in that Telegram, they put important articles, knowledge, everything that's useful. And maybe we could do something like that. Only read. People can join. They can't comment to flood the activities. You don't need to pin too much things. And you can just update, okay, there's a new proposal. You can also put all the hard work of every single person in this DAO about what to delegate, how to vote. I actually got to delegate my votes like last week. I was happy, it worked, everything is good now. But it took time. It took time to understand. Although it's straightforward on the website, it's new for some people. So if we could have a centralized Telegram only for the knowledge, and we can keep the one we have for whatever it is.
Like an announcement Telegram page.
Yeah, like an announcement, yeah. Because I see other projects, they have similar things. They do have Telegrams for the community that people talk to each other, but they do have one for what's coming up, how to buy, how to sell, what's the project's about. And it's not flooded with you know how the Telegram is right now. It's like you gotta scroll like millions or check all the pins. So if everything is centralized in one view place, also that like it doesn't necessarily oblige anyone to come into any Telegram, but they want to see the news, they can go on that one. They can put the notification on and get every single feed of that brand, which is called. It can do the same for Revolt or put it together how it is, but that's what I see other people do, and it's more appealing.
Yeah, absolutely. I found a bot for the Discord stuff to come through to Telegram, but I've not had a chance to implement it, and things have been really busy for a lot of people. So that was another option I was looking at. But yeah, an announcement channel. I've seen that for a lot of big projects where people just kind of have that on the side and just go through that, and then if they want to chime into the chat, then they can, because things do get lost there quite easily. Definitely understandable. But yeah, sorry, go ahead, Ollie.
So I'm going to pop back in here. So this is something that I'm trying to accomplish with all this Cults of Brand stuff. We want to do a webzine that we can update on, whenever we need to, so that we can put right on there, this is the, new proposal going up. Here's a summary, blah, blah, blah. But where people can, and we also want to have some sort of newsletter that goes in conjunction with this, because I do understand there's a lot of information. I hate Telegram. Okay. I think it's impossible, but I am trying to help us get more organized with things like this, because I do hear some of those concerns where, just the onboarding itself and the education and knowing how to vote, knowing how to delegate. How do you get involved in the proposals? What is the proposal process? How does the DAO work? I mean, there's just so much information, and then that's not even getting into the manifesto and the 3 pillars. So that is definitely what I'm trying to create, is a more organized information set. So that's why I keep sending out this information. I need people to help. I'm setting up different teams to work on different aspects of this. So please get involved in this so that we can help make it easier to, for people to understand the DAO and see the proposals and all of that stuff.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you, Holly. Spurps, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe one suggestion, and I don't know if it's a good one, but why don't we hide the status like we did for Revolt, and just show one big button like you still need to vote, and then all this attitude of I don't see my impact or this or that is gone, because you cannot see it anymore. And we did it for Revolt, so why don't we do it for Cult?
That would be a question for Artorias to see if that's possible.
Hey, by the way, Dr. X, I think it was you who was saying this earlier. Quick thought from me. If there's like a subset of different kind of announcements that you and other people would like to see aside from the kinds of announcements that go on the Cult DAO announcement page in Telegram, I'd be happy to make that page. And then, can find one or two other people to help with that to make sure that things go up. So I know that, yeah.
Oh, sorry. We already have an announcement channel. I have been notified by Artorias. I've just pinned it at the top. So please join. It's not really heavily utilized, but we've got it already. So let's utilize it.
The main Cult DAO announcement channel on Telegram. Yeah.
Indeed. I didn't even know that existed, by the way.
I see people like comment in there sometimes, and then that comes up in main. It's a bit funny, but yeah. If that works as far as like other sorts of information besides like big DAO, updates like with the ZK ABM, then that's amazing. That's the ideal solution then.
Yeah, let's I don't really know who's admin for that chat or anything, but let's see if we can make it work. Obviously, we might need a bit tweaking or something, maybe no comments, just for viewing or something like that. But yeah, no, absolutely. K Khan, welcome.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you very much for bringing me up here. I have a slight a question for the group. Basically, we are always talking about cult in the Manifesto Mondays or on other channel, but we rarely talk about revolt. And the problem I see with revolt current voting, as it's being usually exploited by some people who are always putting the same proposals, act of revolt over and over again, and draining the treasury as it is. So, is it possible to have a guardian-like setup over there as people put act of revolt, and first it gets passed if it's worth being displayed to vote or not? Is that possible?
It's probably a notorious question because I don't know how the mechanics work behind the closed doors. But there's like 500 people that 480 of them switch, and they like kind of do the vetting. I've not, I've not looked at Revolt for a while closely, but don't know if that. That would kind of take away the whole. It's a different setup, right? It's totally different. And you've got like 500 people looking at it already. So I don't know. I actually don't know how the voting's going on. So I can't really comment on it too much in depth. But yeah, I know that there's obviously, we're in a bear market and there is a lot less people that are around projects. Obviously, Cult being like obviously the first project that came out in the ecosystem will, in my opinion, always get the limelight. But obviously, Revolt, there's a lot of people that are doing good stuff with Revolt as well and pushing it and utilizing it. I think that as far as I could remember, there was a Twitter account or some team that was dedicated to going through these proposals. I don't know if that's still happening or not, or people are looking at it or not. But a valid point. It's something that we could probably run past Artorius and see what he thinks, or if it's possible or not. But yeah, there's already quite a big group of people that are supposed to be going and vetting through and voting in regards to the proposals that are put through for that.
The Twitter in question, the one that I'm aware of, is Inspect to Revolt, and they still are able to and still are saying, yeah, this person who already submitted a proposal and maybe created a new Twitter account, they just put up another act to revolt. So that is still present.
Basically, I have also seen that Twitter, as it points out to the people who exploits that, but it has a very low outreach, or I may not have a time to check Twitter very often, rarely. I check it, and I might have missed that tweet, for example, and I go over a revolt, and I like the proposal, but it is a fake, obviously, and I voted yes for it. So I think there should be a mechanism so that it can be exploited less, as the treasury is already very dry over there.
Right. My quick thought is that ideally there would be a mechanism. I don't know how that would be able to be hard coded without potentially getting false positives in, and that basically puts an impetus right on the social layer, obviously, and it's the same with the operation of the DAO and being able to improve how we talk about proposals on the cult DAO side, right? Some of this may in principle be able to be coded like over time, but like in real time, a lot of it comes down to coordination and people talking together. At least that's how it seems to me. Great questions, by the way, K-Con. Haven't seen you up here before, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I'll go to others list though.
Yeah, I've had a couple of new voices in today, which is great to always see. They're stepping up for Artorius, right? Who's taking a week off from Manifesto Mondays. How dare he? But anyways, I'll sort that out with him. If anyone else wants to come up as well, wants to talk about the voting stuff, or has an opinion on what we've discussed today, or wants to share anything, absolutely come up. Now's the time. There's no other new requests. So I might just wrap it up.
I I do
Yeah, go
have
on.
an update as far as a new category at the bottom of all of the Discord channels. It's a bit, my bad. It's the kind of thing that does take a little bit of reading, but it's the code of ethics. If anybody's interested in reading through that, and to be clear, this is not like a set of rules that people should like sign off on. It's more like, let's think together about this. And I've given a model which lets people easily design their own rules. And then we can deliberate on each rule, right? Given like the common format that I have here. I made it really, really simple. You know, hopefully it doesn't like look too overwhelming. That's what I'm most worried about. I've got a little bit of like a preamble at first, and then if you scroll down, you see the meat and potatoes, and it's like very simple in the sense that there aren't a lot of parts. I think that's really essential. Is a lot of the time, right, with any system, the more complexity, the more things can possibly break, and that adds that undermines its resilience over time. Right, so please check out, if you go down beneath actually ZooDAO, one of our initial workshops, at the bottom of the Discord, it's in a category called Developing How We Govern. And basically what I'm looking for is people's general thoughts. And I see Buddy just reacted. But the idea is that when you see how I've broken up what each particular rule is in 3 parts, it should be really easy for people to work together on collectively designing a code of ethics, right? So to me, like this, I hope it does like the heavy lifting, right? And then basically you just plug and chug. This is what I want to see, and then you compare that with the format that I've given there, and then we can decide on given articles. And then last thing about that is I do have like a tentative timeline for getting some articles out, some rules out that help everything operate as smoothly from the perspective of the whole DAO. I'm not sold completely on that timeline. I think it's open for discussion. All that I do ask is that people weigh in with reasons, and that this progress according to more debate and discussion without any name calling, that kind of thing, right? It's on behalf of the whole DAO that we can move forward with this. So.
Oh, I really appreciate that, Wastelander, and thank you for putting that together with you and everyone else that put their effort in. I'll definitely have a read. Not tonight. I'll probably fall asleep, and that won't do your write-up justice, and I will feel really bad. So I will do that tomorrow, definitely. So yeah, no, really, really appreciate you putting your time and your effort in. This guy's really big brains. So I'm definitely going to take a read, and I'm sure I'll be taking a lot away from that. So thank you for that. It's in Discord, right? It's right at the bottom on Discord?
It is. It's underneath the second set of past workshops, actually, because I'm not as adept with being able to move where different channels are. So it's at the very bottom.
Okay, no, that's fine. And are we gonna look to maybe put it on Telegram or a tweet or something like that, just so it's accessible to anyone that's not on Discord, or are we just looking to leave it there for now? I'm
definitely open to putting it in, in different, mediums of like exchange, so people can, offer insights depending like what they prefer. Yeah. On Telegram, it would take quite a lot of scrolling.
Okay.
But
maybe put out a tweet with the document or the link for it, and then we can share the tweet in the Telegram, and then people can access it that way. Maybe.
This is a brilliant proposal, Harry. My friend.
Vote yay. Okay, cool. No, I really appreciate that. Thank you. People are requesting and then jumping off. 1 second. Let me just get. We got Good God. Go ahead. How you doing?
What's good, my bro?
Good, man. How are you?
Listen, real quick, right? I want to give a TLDR, boys and all the moon girls in the back. It's very simple, okay? Go to the website. If it says delegate votes 0, that means you got no power. It's very simple. Click the button. It brings you to another screen. You put your wallet address in, you pay a couple dollars in gas, and then you're off to the races. It's very simple. All right? So I just gave you a TLDR. Please, everybody go it. It's not just for whatever proposals are for now. It's for the future. so that this way we don't have these issues again. Because when G-Dub told me the amount of votes and the amount of people that were not heard and have not been heard, I was just completely blown away, myself included. And now I'm trying to figure out if I've been doing this wrong the whole time, because I thought I delegated my shit. So I'm just trying to reiterate that in a real short way, so that this way everybody gets it.
Really appreciate you coming on and saying that, man. I just realized what TLDR was, by the way. So yeah,
That's what I am, dude. That's what I am.
I
learn as a DAO, don't we?
I just learned what TLDR was, by the way, and that's on record. So yeah, thank you. But no, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate that, man. And I really cannot stress how much the vote really counts, no matter what your bag size is. Just imagine, right? There may be a situation at some point where your bag could have, been a lot more vocal. Not could have been. It will be a lot more vocal because it all adds up, right? I mean, it's not the bag size; it's your voice, and that's relevant to you. And you should definitely utilize that and vote either way. I did really like the idea about hiding where the votes are going, because I don't think people should be looking at results and voting. Not saying people are, but I think that shouldn't be the case at all. So we could definitely look at that and speak to Artorius in regards to that. But yeah, see how vital it is to have Artorius on here. The guy's like so handy. But we'll get all the questions to him. Siddharth, welcome, and I think first time you're coming on today, so really nice to see you up, and welcome to Manifesto Mondays.
Hey Harry, no, I am actually a holder from April, so I used to come when Nove used to be here, and we used to talk. So
amazing.
I was actually,
apologies.
Yes, yeah. So I was just AWOL for some time. I had some, things to sort out on my career point of view, so I was not coming. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
can
just,
hear you.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about, just a few things. One of the proposals that came, I want to, direct the attention towards it. It's the white Ethereum one, the white ETH token. I really, feel bad that Cult has investment in it, and because the developer team, because because Kyle Chase was the guardian who proposed it, and it went from an all-time high of 4.5 million to less than 200K, because the developer team is not very good at organic marketing or any kind of marketing, and the people who were actually invested are not as vocal as the Cult community, how we are having Manifesto Mondays, and everyone is quite active here on. So even when our price declined from somewhat like 330 million to around 26 million right now, but we are still here, and we are still kind of people lost what's there. But I think Cult should support their investments, because we already, as it was talked earlier, Noob used to say that we always support our own. So I feel, because the utility is there, the I maybe it seems that I am speaking from a white Ethereum point of view. Yeah, of course I am invested in white Ethereum as well as I am in Cult, but I feel very bad because it's a very great utility token with the really nice project that is promoting what Cult stands for. So somewhere or the other, I want that should be promoted as well, and maybe Cult can help them. They're kind of in a jiffy right now, and I feel that it might lead to our investment of Cult going down with it.
I think it's not a bad idea. I think this might be a bit of a bandwidth issue, because think about how many proposals we have, and then we're trying to sort our house out. We've got a lot of the people that put in a lot of time and effort in. I think it's fair to say that they're really already quite stretched in putting their time and efforts in already. And it's just, I think it's more of a not enough time in the day rather than supporting our investments. But I mean, having another AMA to get an update for everyone was probably a good idea. And I know that Holly in the Cult is a brand group, and obviously the proposal, they're looking to have delegated people. Correct me if I'm wrong, Holly. Yeah, having delegated people for certain proposals so they can go back and get updates and make sure that everyone knows what's happening. And maybe, I'm not obviously I'm not putting anything out there. Just want to maybe a suggestion that these people or a select group of people can hold AMAs with investments to get an update or something of the sort. I don't know, but I know people are stretched. Oh, I saw a thumbs down there, Holly. First, changed your mind quick. But yeah, it's just. I think that's something we can do. I think giving out marketing advice or helping them on that sort of stuff is probably a stretch too far. But in regards to having updates and showing that we're still invested in them is probably a better approach and probably more doable.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the thumbs down button. That was the wrong one. So yes, actually, we are wanting to do AMAs with them again to revisit them, talk about what's going on with them. I'm getting ready to do a Q&A with Wistaverse, and it's not just focusing just on them. It's also, revisiting why did they meet one of the, our pillars from the manifesto, what brought them to the cult DAO. So I want it to be a good mix of, why were we brought together? And then, updates about what's going on and stuff like that. So yes, that's exactly what we are doing. And we're starting with Wistaverse. So that's in the process right now.
Oh, sorry, go on, Wastelander. Go ahead, Wastelander.
As it so happens, it's me and then a couple of other people from Cult DAO that will be hosted on an AMA from Giveth, which was an earlier proposal. I really recommend everybody attend that. That's going to be at, I believe it's 11 a.m. this Wednesday. There's more information in the workshop for Giveth, and then you can DM me as well, and I'll put something on my Twitter also, and I think that the Cult DAO main Twitter will also tweet about that.
No, I really appreciate that. But one thing I want to ask Holly is, how did you get the gig for Wistaverse? I thought a Soldier of Cult would have been all over that.
Because of him? Because of him? No, he's totally involved in this. I'm just the one doing the Q&A, but he's
I'm
the
just
one
messing.
that's got me connected with them. Yeah, no,
just messing.
He's super involved in that.
No, absolutely. I'm just winding him up more than you, to be honest. Yeah, I know he's in here listening for once. So, no, absolutely. And thank you for doing what you're doing. It's really vital, I think, that because if we get new investors coming in now and we made these proposals, say 6 months ago, they're not going to go back and read all that workshop, but they might be interested in what the hell's going on? Why do we invest in this? Or, there'll be questions. So it's good to have updates. And plus, it's good to have updates for everyone, right? They want to hear how the investments are doing, what's in the pipeline, just to hear the other project even speak. Because sometimes some projects aren't very vocal, especially like coders and stuff like that. They just want to get their head down and just want to get on with work. And you may not hear from them for a while, or they just might not be good at marketing, So, absolutely. So thank you for that. Stephen, welcome.
Hello, what's up?
How you doing? You good?
Do you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, yeah.
Perfect. Good to see you guys here. It's my first space actually on Cool DAO, and I'm new in this Cool DAO project, and yesterday I just doubled my bag because I understand the tokenomics. It's very, very deflationary, and I saw the announcement with Layer 1 blockchain. It's very, very bullish news, and I'm new in this project, and I want to learn about Revolt. I never got into it, and I want to know what's the relationship in between Cool DAO and Revolt, and if I hold Cool DAO, I'm gonna get some Revolt for free, or how does it work? What's
so Revolt was the second token for the ecosystem, and the airdrops already happened. So if you held Cult back in May or June, I can't remember. Everything's merged. Like this year has merged for me. So I think it was May or June, and there was a few snapshots taken, and people were airdropped Revolt, and then you were applicable to get into the pre-sale. That's all done and dusted with. But if you want, obviously, Revolt, you can go out and buy that. The other thing I would say is read the rules of engagement, because they're, I think, 28 or 30 pages long. It'll give you a really good idea of what Revolt is and what it's looking to achieve, and maybe even go through some proposals as well. And join the Telegram group. It's quite active. There's a lot of good people in there that are helping day in, day out. But yeah, definitely read the rules of engagement first. But there's the airdrop stuff's all done and dusted with about what month? May, yeah, about 5 months ago or something, 4 or 5 months ago.
But what's the relationship in between CoolDAO and Revolt?
It's a second. So basically, okay. So it's a second token for the ecosystem, but there's also a burn mechanism from Revolt from each proposal that passes for the cult token. But you'd get a really good understanding once you read the rules of Revolt and understand how that fits in. If you've read the manifesto and then read that, then you'll get a really good snapshot of it.
Okay, do you have any links for Revolt?
If you go to the Cult DAO website, on the top right, it'll say Revolt and Stake or something. If you click on that, you'll be able to find all the links on there. It's on the Revolt website. No, on the Cult DAO website, sorry. cultdao.io.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Thank you, man. Thank you.
No problem at all. No worries, man. And welcome, and thank you for coming on. We've had a lot of... No worries at all. We've had a lot of new voices on today, which is great. Nice to hear. Otherwise, it's just me speaking to myself, especially today with no Artorias as well. And thank you, Wastelander, Holly, for coming up, everyone else. I think it might be a bit of a wrap here. No more requests, so it feels quite quick, but an hour and a half, I think that's good without Artorias. But Artorias, don't get any ideas. You're on next week, man. Like, I can't do this every week. Like, if you go back and listen to the start, I got told I was being really... Oh, he's coming up. He's coming up as a listener.
That was so on purpose by you, Harry. No matter what you say, man.
But you know what, though? You know what? The funny thing is, right? We can never say that Artorias never came to Manifesto Mondays. He's still here. And he's here. Welcome, Artorias.
Hey, Harry.
Hey. Are you traveling?
Yeah, traveling. Just got off the plane, so that's why I haven't been able to talk. It sounds like a spiritual discussion in my absence.
In your absence, yeah. I mean, it's been really good. A lot of people came up. A lot of new faces came on. I got told that I need to restart my introduction because it was quite flat. And it was quite, I had no energy, but I blamed it on you, obviously. But it's all good. It's all good. We got there in the end. I mean, Soldier came on, right? I don't know if Soldier is Artorias. I can't tell now. You must have a really good mic if you can change that accent. But anyways. But yeah, it's been great. It's been good. We've had some good discussions around voting and proposals and how people can be notified in regards to them and how to utilize the announcement channel. Thank you for sending the link for that. I didn't even know that existed until today. We talked about the code of ethics that Wastelander and a couple others have put together, which is on Discord. Get that shared on Twitter soon as well. And talked about the delegating of voting and how important that is. And regardless of bag size, everyone should vote. So yeah, that kind of sums that up this week. I wanted to talk about something else actually this week, but I didn't get time to research, and I think this was probably a worthy topic for this week. So hopefully for next week, I shall do some preparation and cover something interesting. But yeah, Taurus, if you've got anything to add, you're more than welcome. Otherwise, I'm going to call it a wrap. Nope, nothing at all. Cool, no worries. So thank you everyone for joining another week. I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for Manifesto Mondays, I wouldn't even know today was Monday. Things are just crazy. But yeah, thank you for coming on every week in, week out. We're in a bear market. I can only imagine what's going to happen in a bull market. We might get rugged because we might have too many people in here listening. Which is bullish. But yeah, keep doing what you're doing. If you've got any questions, obviously always reach out to, I was going to say any one of us, but most of us are quite approachable. So, and if we don't know the answer, we will try and point you in the right direction. We're all here to learn, so definitely reach out. Don't think that your voice can't be heard. No question is really a FUD question if it's legitimate at the end of the day, but not everyone knows everything. I think I messed up on the delegated voting stuff as well. So, we're all learning here and it's a learning process. So let's learn together and please don't think, I just really want to stress, please don't think that your bag size doesn't matter. It does matter and it's relevant. And you need to vote, because if we all thought like that, then only maybe the top 10 would vote, and that's not what we're about. So everyone vote. It's vital that you vote, and focus that on the proposal rather than which way it might go, because remember what Holly said, the gasless votes, you don't know when they're going to come in and which way they're going to go, and that shouldn't even be the focus anyway. Your vote should be more educated on yourself and what you know and how you feel in regards to it and what's best for the DAO. So really, really important to stress that. So yeah, on that note, I'm going to end it on something that I really like and I did on last week. So take care, everyone, and peace out.
Don't you know, talking about the revolution sounds while they're counting in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know, talking about the revolution sounds. Who are people gonna rise up, get their share? Who are people gonna rise up, take what's there? Don't you know you better run, 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 run. Oh, I said you better run, 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 run. 'Cause finally the tables are starting to turn. Talking about the revolution. Yes, finally the tables are starting to turn. Talking about the revolution. Oh, no. Talking about the revolution. Oh, while they're standing in the welfare line, crying the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know, talking about the revolution sounds. And finally the tables are starting to turn. Talking about the revolution. It's finally the tables are starting to turn. Talking about the revolution. Oh, no. Talking about the revolution. Oh, no.
Take care, everyone. Catch you all next week. Peace out.